During mid-1942, after Operation Barbarossa was in full swing and failed, Hitler saw the effectiveness of the T-34 and saw the uselessness of the Panzer IVs against them. So he set out two of his best tank designers, Porsche and Henschel, to design a tank, a heavy tank, that could combat the T-34s, so it had to use the 88, and the deadline was Hitler's birthday. They both met the criteria, and these tanks were known as Tiger. Now, I've done a quick summary of the backstory, let me go over it again. So, when Operation Barbarossa commenced, they saw that the Panzer IVs weren't really up to match with the KV-1s and the T-34s that the Soviets had. Their guns were either ineffective or not powerful enough. So, Hitler saw the effectiveness of the 88mm flak gun and saw that it could take out the tanks with no problem. So he contacted Porsche and Henschel saying, "You two are a race, design a prototype tank made for the 88mm, and the deadline's my birthday." And they got to work. Both of them met the criteria, but only one could have won. Now, Porsche's design had a front-mounted turret. It wasn't that bad. It had 200mm in the straight plate, and it did have the 88mm. Now, Henschel had a central-mounted turret, 120mm thickness in a slope by the bow gunner and driver, using torsion bar suspension. And we all know who won. Now, Henschel's design was put into mass production, but Porsche had been a little too ambitious. He thought that he was going to win hands down, and he started producing the Porsche before Hitler's birthday. About 50 hulls, to be precise. These would later be used to make the Elephant and Ferdinand tanks. So, what strengths did Henschel's tank have? Well, as I said, it had a maximum armour of 120mm and a minimum armour of 25mm. I wouldn't really present that to the enemy. Now, it had 4 different armaments. Obviously it had the main 88mm, but it also had 2 MG34s and 1 MG42. Now the reason for the MG34s in the tank was because the MG42, which was the main machine gun of the Wehrmacht, if you wanted to replace the barrel you had to take the side out. Now obviously when it's enclosed in a ball joint or the main axle of the gun, you can't really do that. But the MG34, you just had to swivel the receiver up. Now, about 1,347 of these tanks were made. Because obviously it was a heavy tank, it devoted resources which could have been used more effectively. So, the Tiger saw its use, and at the Battle of Kursk, it could outgun anything that they had until the Soviets started digging in. Now, I'm not here just to talk about the Tiger 1. I'm here to talk about all the Tigers. So, the Tiger 2 was the evolution. Now, Henschel was given the design, and he got to it. Porsche was given to make the turret, and Krupp was made to give him the turret. Now, Henschel went with the Panther style body extended, so it now has 9 bogies instead of the Tiger 1's 8. Now, Porsche's turret was inferior to Krupp's turret, which sort of put it to one side. Now, not even 500 of the Tiger 2s had been made because it diverted more resources than the Tiger 1s and the Panther 4s combined. But it did do its job. Now, they're the two main Tigers, but there are two other Tigers. You have the jagdtiger, which is a 128mm gun put onto the body of a Tiger 2. Now, this was initially meant to be a tank destroyer. Very, very, very little of these were made, not even 100. But its frontal armour could withstand anything that a Sherman could throw, even the Firefly. And now, the final Tiger that I'm going to mention, which I have mentioned a while ago during my tanks series, is the sturmtiger. Now, these tanks were meant to destroy pillboxes. That's why they were given a 380mm howitzer. But because of the weight of the shells, it could only carry 14, which, if your aim isn't that good, isn't really going to help you much. But only 18 were made, and it is an icon for today. So, those are all the Tiger tanks and the histories behind them. Let me know what you think about the Tiger, and let me know what you think about Tiger 131, the last remaining mobile Tiger. And I shall see you on the Sunday for the invasion that crippled Germany.